Welcome to Music with Mrs. Avery. Hello everyone. In this lesson we are going to play a fun game called Wacky Wanda, where we're going to practice analyzing our line and space notes on the treble clef staff. But before we get started, you are going to need two things. You're going to need a blank piece of paper and a pencil. You could also use a whiteboard and expo marker if you have one of those available as well. Either will do. So you'll either need a blank piece of paper and pencil or a whiteboard and expo marker. So go ahead and pause this video so that you can go and get those materials. Before we start our game, let's review how to analyze the notes on the lines and spaces of the treble clef staff. Step one, you're going to look at the note and you need to ask yourself, is it a line note or a space note? Remember, a line note is drawn on the line and the staff line is going directly through the center of the note. A space note is drawn in between two lines and takes up the entire space between two lines of the staff. So step one, you have to determine if it's a line note or a space note. Step two, you have to count and figure out which line or space that note is in. So remember, we always count our staff lines from the bottom to the top. So if you had this staff here, we would count the lines from the bottom to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We would also count those spaces between the lines from the bottom to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4. So after step one, determining whether it's a line or space note, then you have to figure out which number line or space the note is on. Remember to count from the bottom to the top. Step three, which strategy should I use? Remember, if you determine that the note was a line note, you are going to use your sentence. Empty garbage before Dad flips. Say that with me. Empty garbage before Dad flips. Way to go. And remember, if you determine that that note was a space note, you are going to use the word face. Remember, face rhymes with space. So that's an easy way to remember it. So let's quickly review. When we analyze a note, first, we have to determine if it's a line or space note. Second, we have to determine which number, line, or space the note is on. Remember to count from the bottom to the top. And third, we have to determine which strategy to use. If it's a line note, we use our sentence, empty garbage before Dad flips. And if it's a space note, we use our word, face. And then using your hand, you are going to count and you are going to say your strategy and determine the letter name of the note. So let's get our hands out, pinkies on the bottom, you're looking at your palm, and we're counting from the bottom to the top. Let's count our lines first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's count them one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And remember, if we have a line note, we're using our sentence. Let's say it together. Empty garbage before Dad flips. One more time. Empty garbage before Dad flips. You got it. Then, if it's a space note, you're going to use your hand, but you're going to count the spaces in between those lines. So let's count from the bottom to the top. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. And remember, we use the word face. So let's spell it. F-A-C-E. One more time. F-A-C-E. You got it. Now remember, determine if it's a line or a space note. Figure out which number, line, or space it's on. Figure out which strategy you're going to use. And then you have to put all that together, use your hand, count, say your strategy, and figure out the letter of the note. Remember, when you label a note, you'll always label it with a capital letter. Now that we have reviewed how to analyze the notes on the lines and spaces of the treble clef staff, you are ready to play the game Wacky Wanda. For this game, I am going to show you a card, and this card has a word on it, but the word is spelled using music notes, and these notes are going to be line and space notes on the treble clef staff. And you are going to have about 30 seconds to analyze each note of the word. You're going to use your hand, you're going to count, you're going to figure out the letter name, and then on your blank piece of paper, you are going to write down each letter of each note in that word, and if you get it correct, it will spell a word. Let's do a practice round. Go ahead and take your white piece of paper and number 1 for me at the top. Are you ready? Here we go. Here is your word. Okay. So remember, step 1, look at this note first. Is it a line or space note? Then you have to figure out which line or space it's in. Then you need to figure out which strategy to use. And last, you need to use your hand, count, figure out the letter. Once you figure out the letter, write it down and move on to the next note. I'm going to start your 30 seconds now. All right, time's up. Are you ready to see what the word was? Ace. Did you get it right? If you got it right, give yourself a point in the top corner of your paper. Now, you'll notice all 3 of these notes are space notes. Do you see how they're drawn in the space? Well, we can quickly see that this note is in space 2. This note is in space 3, and this note is in space 4. So all you have to do is get your hand out. Use your word face. Remember, it rhymes with space. F-A-C-E. So this practice round was easy. It was right in a row. They weren't really mixed up so much. So number 1 was ace. Here's number 2. Ready? Remember, you'll start with this note, then go to this note and this note. So we're going to read these notes from left to right like we're reading a book. I'm going to start your 30 seconds now. And that's 30 seconds. Finish up, and I'm going to show you the answer. Here we go. Ready? The word was, did you get it right? If you got it right, give yourself a point in the top corner of your paper. Way to go if you got this one right. You see, this note was in the top space, and this note was on the bottom line, but both of them are E's. Great job. We have one more in our game today, and I'm going to give you 45 seconds for this word because there are 4 letters in this word. Are you ready? Here we go. Work hard. Remember, you have to figure out if it's a line or space note first. 45 seconds begins now. About at the halfway mark. Okay, your 45 seconds are up. Are you ready to see the word? And the word was fade. Did you get it right? If you did, give yourself a point. Great job working on analyzing your line and space notes on the treble clef staff. For your assignment in Google Classroom, I'd like for you to take a picture of your work. So you should have our practice round here and then the next 2. Okay, don't worry if you didn't get them right. I want to see what you didn't get correct so I can help you fix it for next time. Okay, so you can still leave your wrong answer on your paper if you got it wrong. But if you got it right, awesome. And I should see your points up in the corner, right? So you could have earned a total of 3 points. So I'd like for you to take a picture of your work, upload it so I can review it. And I hope that you had fun playing Wacky Wanda. Thanks for joining me.